Health without mental health, there is no health. Without mental health, there is no health. Without mental health, and so say all of us. There's no health without mental health. Yes, there is no health without mental health. This is the brain, the image of the brain. The same way you have the image of the heart, the liver, the kidney, and co, so also you have the brain. The brain coordinates every activity in our body, and it also tries as much as possible to give us the feeling, the thinking, and the behavior coordinations that we have. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to your Friday tonic, Mind Matters with Dr. Nubi. I'm your regular host, Dr. Oluseun Peter Ogunobi. Sorry we could not meet last week. I was fagged out, and as I always say, most of the time when I'm not able to join live is because one emergency or the other cropped up, or if anything happens, I may not be able to join. It's not a pre-recorded speech, it is a real-time program. I have friends on Facebook who are joining us, and excuse me, I have also friends on Instagram that are joining us today. So you see me turning my head from one direction to the other is because I'm trying to get viewers. I try to maintain focus, and I try as much as possible to carry everyone along. Yes. So how has our week been? Oh, things are tough, I know. Not only in Nigeria, in Africa generally, people are barely trying to survive. Imagine prices of goods in the markets. People have children to feed, school fees, and the likes. So I can imagine the pressure, the stress of our world. But we just continue to push on. I've taught us stress management. I've taught us how to cope with the ties of our time. And it's important that we recognize these factors. This is not the time to put your children in private school when you can't afford. This is not the time to say you want to live in a house you cannot afford the rent. This is the time to cut clothes according to one's clothes, not according to your size. If your size is supposed to take 3 yards and you have 2, then you have to sew knicker instead of trouser. You have to sew short sleeve instead of long sleeve. It is important we do this. While some are groaning, some are adjusting. Your ability to adjust your standard of living is very critical in this situation. Therefore, it is important that we take care of our mental health. Don't go and overdo. Don't go and put too much load on yourself. At the end of the day, you'll be groaning and you'll be thinking, how will I do this? How will I do this? What will I do? Family planning is important this time around. You don't continue to bring children to this world when you know you cannot take care of them. It's also important that you must seek for help if you know you need help. If you know that you need money, you need food, call friends, call relatives, especially those you have helped in the time past. It's also important that you need to learn from others how they are managing their own wealth. If somebody in your place of work is, doing better than you and you are getting the same salary, this is the time to walk up to that person and ask questions. Bro, how are you doing this? I'm finding it difficult. It's very, very important. I will still be giving us more tips on how to cope with our world, especially in time like this. Remember, COVID-19 third wave is around, and we are talking of Delta wave variants in Nigeria. Please use your face mask, maintain social distance, wash your hands regularly, use hand sanitizer at all costs, and make sure that you avoid large gathering. All right, that's a wonderful intro from me, and we'll just go straight to the topic of today. Today we'll be talking about overcoming the culture of denial. Overcoming the culture of denial. The next 25 minutes, because I want to do this thing sharp. And thank you so much, Akisulere Ajaya. Thank you so much on Facebook. She said, "This is commendable. You are doing a good job enlightening the public on issues concerning mental health." Thank you, AY. Thank you so much, Akisulere Ajaya Ayodele. AY for short. Thank you. So, friends on Facebook, a lot of friends, Brain Grace, thanks for joining. Temitayo, Topi, oh, my friends, several people. I recognize you all. Olayedo, good evening. Thank you. God bless you too. Thank you. So today we are talking about overcoming the culture of denial. This is a huge topic. Because this is something that I've come to realize in this profession, especially mental health. What is denial? Denial is what it is, denial. So today I'll be talking about how do we overcome this culture, because especially in this part of the world, we have that culture of denial. It can be denial of symptoms of mental illness. Parents will call me. They are obviously seeing that their words or children or a particular child is acting abnormally. But they'll call you and say, "Doctor, he's a good person. Maybe somebody annoyed him. But he's hearing voices. He's not sleeping. He's restless." You say A, he says B. Why? Because these parents don't want to come to terms with the fact that there is an emotional breakdown. I understand. It can be hard. It is a hard pill to swallow. So they begin to perambulate. Instead of coming straight to the hospital, they begin to look for other alternatives. That is denial. Denial has caused a lot of havoc. And of course, the first havoc is it causes delayed presentation. And don't forget some of these conditions. The same way it is for physical conditions, it is in mental health. In mental illness, if you don't present on time, I tell you, by the time the person is coming, the brain is already growing. Things that we ought to have used 1 or 2 weeks, you'll be spending months in hospital. Why? Because of denial at the very beginning. I know it is hard. I know it is hard to see your daddy, your mommy that is old now beginning to confabulate, begin to have memory problems, and they are telling you it's dementia. You say, no, maybe he's just forgetting things. This is denial. We need to overcome the culture of denial. Sometimes I see cases in my clinic and I'm like, what were you people waiting for? Mental illness is like cancer in terms of the fact that it moves from one state to another. It's like malaria in terms of the fact that it moves from one state to another. Have you not heard of cerebral malaria? When they tell you that malaria kills millions every year, they're not lying, they're not joking, they're not just making you to go to panic mode. No. Because somebody begins to have headache, the next moment you're having feverish condition, your bones and everything is aching. This is malaria. And then you reject it. Before you know it, the parasite can go to the brain and that person can become unconscious. And that's what we call cerebral malaria. Ditto for mental illness. Somebody that has mild depression, all he needs is psychotherapy. He may not even require medication. Somebody that is going through stress and burnout, all he needs is stress coping mechanism. He may not even require medication. But you continue to deny that, oh, I'm strong. Real men don't cry. How are you? I'm fine. Not accepting the issues with you. And what do we say in mental health balance? We say it is okay not to be okay. Friends, I'm here to tell you truth. Mental health facts. I'm not here to romance the truth. And I'm not selfish about it. If I want to be selfish about it, I'll keep these things to myself and I will allow people to break down. And then we begin to have mental health hospitals flooded. But this is preventive health. I'm a community psychiatrist. What I do is mental health advocacy. I tell people things to do to salvage their health. I tell people things to do to help themselves instead of coming down with emotional illness. Emotional, forget in Nollywood or Hollywood or Bollywood or anything that somebody will be sleeping and then maybe mother-in-law will now do like this. And the person will now wake up and now start scratching his head and tear his clothes. And then you say he has become mad. No, that is film, that is movie. Most of the time, symptoms of mental illness will come like symptoms of malaria. The same way malaria symptom comes gradually. They come gradually, so also symptoms of mental illness. Depression, for example, will not just start in one day. The person will be losing interest, will not be having energy. The person will not feel like going to work. When people are laughing, smiling, you'll just be wondering why are they happy, what is funny. Gradually, the person will be withdrawing, appetite will be lost. Sometimes they eat excessively, they crave for sugar. Sometimes they begin to now talk about sleeping excessively or not even sleeping at all. Then you begin to say, oh, this person, and before you know it, they are now becoming suicidal and cool. Oh, then they begin to hear voices condemning them. Look at your life. Now so you go die, you look at you. You can't even make it in life. Oh. And then they become suicidal. Then you say it is arrow of the enemy. Come on. This thing started with low mood, withdrawal to self, feeling weak, not enjoying activities that the person used to enjoy before. But because of our culture of denial, what do we find? We find people trying to say, I will pray about it. It's good to pray. But when you pray, you must act. Faith without work is dead. Physicians were raised and trained by God. Discoveries of medicine and drugs are by no other person but God. Medicine and spirituality are not mutually exclusive, but they complement each other. This is very key, and we need to accept and we need to know this. It's very important. Overcoming the culture of denial. My friends can accept, they can attest to this. People will be coming and they are presenting late. Some it is so obvious that the partner, the child, the parent, something is wrong. But they'll be telling you, you know. Even someone that is having frank psychotic symptoms, they'll be saying, no, it's just anxiety. It's just a bit of depression. I say, you know what? It's not for you to diagnose. Let the doctor, who is vast and trained in this thing, let them do the diagnosis. Overcoming the culture of denial. Denial can only make things worse. Denial can only make us spend more. What would have taken us 1 week may eventually take us 1 year. What other ways do people deny? I've mentioned one, which is denial of mental illness symptoms. Denial of addiction is another thing. That one is very, very common. Very common. Somebody that is addicted, either this person, it is so obvious that this person is addicted. You will hear, no. I can control my drinking habits. I can control my smoking habits. After all, they've legalized Indian hemp or squishes or anything abroad. I know when to stop. But this person cannot stop. This person is losing job. Families are falling apart. Friends are leaving you. You are becoming a shame to yourself and the society. Instead of you to come for help, your parents are telling you come for help. Your friends are telling you. But you know what? You continue to say that you deal with it, that there's no problem. It's just people that are, they are doing, they are just being worried for nothing. They are alarmists. Come on. Come on. I have seen people that, in fact, if you are blind, you know that they are addicted. And they'll be telling you, I'm not addicted. I can control it. I can control the crack. I can control the substance. But you cannot control it. You are having glaring symptoms of addiction. Primacy of use. You cannot do any other thing other than these drugs. Tolerance. You need to take more and more to achieve the same effects. Narrowing of the use. You continue to just take the one that will give you, before you used to take plenty, but now you now pick one. Withdrawal symptoms. When you don't take it, your body begins to feel somehow. Neglect of any other thing. Continuous use despite harm or injury, either physically, either psychosocial or occupational wise. And you still say that you are not addicted. You cannot know when to start and when to stop. And yet you say that you are not addicted. This is nothing but denial. Today we are talking about overcoming the culture of denial. I want us to share this message to anyone you know. Maybe you know any family, your sibling, anything, and they are denying whatever you have told them before to seek help. Go to mental health therapist. They say, no. My case has not. In fact, when you mention psychiatrists, they will say, no, I'm not mad. And I've come here, I've said it over and over, that psychiatry is not about madness. Psychiatry is about emotion, psychiatry. Psychic is the mind. If you're having problem with sleep, you want to go to surgeon to operate the sleep. If you have problem with your emotion, you want to go to surgeon to do operation. If you have problem with your feelings and you are acting funny, or you believe that certain things are happening to you, you want to go to orthopedist or to cardiologist. Things related to the mind are handled by doctors who specialize on the mind. This is the brain. 3 people operate here. The neurosurgeon will go in to take anything out. The neurologist will work on the motor aspects. If there is stroke or anything, that is the work of the neurologist. Any movement disorder. But when it comes to the behavioral aspect, the feelings or the thinking part of the brain, the neuropsychiatrists are the one in charge. And you say, over my dead body, I will not go to psychiatrist. But you are dying of depression. You are dying of anxiety. You are dying of panic attack. You go out and you are shaking. They ask you to give presentation. It's as if you want to collapse. You are sweating. Everywhere is dark. Or you have problem with anger. And you say nothing. God forbid. I will not go to psychiatrist. Overcoming the culture of denial. I know what I'm saying. This topic did not just come. It's as a result of my experience in my few years of practicing neuropsychiatry. I have seen a lot where it is so obvious that this person has problem, especially that of addiction, and they will be arguing with you. Some will fight their parents, some will fight their siblings, some will fight their friends. In fact, somebody each time he drinks, he falls inside gutter, but he said that he's not addicted, that he can control. Really? Dropped out of school, yet you say you can control it? You are just living in denial, and you are making the case worse. If you know anyone living in denial, send this message to them that they are only compounding the case, because eventually they will need help at one point or the other. And by that time, they're going to spend more, and they're going to spend more time and more money overcoming the culture of denial. I'm bringing this live feed from my office here at Grace Cottage in Lukbeju. And I can tell you that sometimes I become so emotional and I feel like slapping I feel like slapping some patient or relatives. Like, what are you waiting for? I mean, why wait till this period in time? Ethical conduct and co will not allow me to do that. But just to tell you that sometimes it pains us as doctors when we see, it's like an oncologist that sees a cancer at stage 4. They say they were using oil at home. When you see swelling on your breast and you did not run to go and do tests, no mammography, no fine needle aspiration, nothing, until the thing now leads to, fungating, bringing out pus, you are not coming to hospital. Madam, what have you been looking at since? We thought it would go. They were using palm oil to rub it, and they were using anointing oil. The same thing with mental illness. Overcoming the culture of denial. The third thing we need to overcome with regards to culture of denial is denial of anger. Denial of anger. I have seen people that have been brought down by anger. But that anger did not start one day. They've always gone into rage, but they never told themselves the truth. Friends, families, brothers, sisters would have told them, this is your anger. Do something about it. Because when you are angry, you can destroy anything in sight. You can break anything. And you say, no, it's people, they are the one. If not, in fact, they say they are very cool and collective guy. I'm very gentle. This is denial. We have anger management. When you come to us, we look at it, we realize that there's no other impulsive problem and you do not require medication. We send it to our partner, the clinical psychologist. I always tell people, clinical psychologists are great. The social workers are great. The mental health psychiatric nurses are great. I have clinical psychologists here at Grace Cottage. I have mental health nurses. I have social workers. If they are useless, we will not use them. We are only saying that they are not medical doctors. You go to medical doctor will rule out any medical condition causing that abnormal behavior. If they discover that, what you need is more or less of therapy, they send it to the clinical psychologist who went to study psychology, did specialization for 1 year or 2 in clinical psychology. Some went ahead to do their PhD. And that's just the point. They are not less important, but everybody must know his own limits. You can't come and meet me now and tell me to be doing personality assessment, IQ test, and all the likes. I'm going to send it to the clinical psychologist who are trained to do MMPI, reviews, projective tests, objective tests, and co. So it is very important. So when people ask me, what is the difference between psychiatrists and psychologists? I say, psychiatrists are medical doctors who decided to go for specialization, spending 6 or 7 years. While clinical psychologists are those who read psychology for 4 years in school, not in medical school, but they did 1 year of clinical psychology. As such, they are also professionals. But when you have any medical condition, either brain, heart, and co, you go to the doctor first. The doctor rules out any underlying, because most of these abnormal behaviors we are talking about, they may have medical condition as an underlying ailment. It is when you have ruled those things out, you now say you can go to the speech therapist, you can go to the social worker, you can go to the occupational therapist, you can go to the clinical psychologist or mental health nurse, as the case may require. That is simple. There's no controversy about that. Overcoming the culture of denial. If you have anger problem and you continue to deny, you have anger problem, you continue to deny, that anger can lead to your downfall. But your ability to accept that truly I think I'm touchy, truly I think I get angry easily, truly I think I need to watch on my my anger, truly I think I need help, you move to therapy. And you go for it. It is very simple. Very, very simple. But when you say, no problem. If you don't touch me, I won't touch you. If you give me, I'll give it back to you. Fine, we know. But you yourself, you will know that the way you give it back is like times 8. Overcoming the culture of denial. Overcoming the culture of denial. What other thing do people deny? Self-control. Some will tell you, if you bring 50 bottles of drink here, I will not drink anything at all. I'll just take one. If you bring 10 guests who are naked into my room, I will just look at them and say, Jesus loves you. Meanwhile, you know that you don't have the self-control. Overcoming the culture of denial. Therefore, when you see such, your friends are smoking, you say you can sit among them, you will just be ordering for malt or coke, or you take water. You are denying this fact that you are still weak. When I manage people when I have rehabilitation here and I manage them for addiction, when they are going, I tell them, I say it's 50-50. You must know that you are still a work in progress, and you must do everything possible to defend your malleable mind and heart. Because the truth is, anything can make you tweet. You will just see yourself going to the other side. You cheat away. Don't come and say, oh yes, I've gone to Grace Cottage, I spent 3 months rehabilitation. Anybody now, whether they are smoking, I will just look at them like this and say, nonsense. Really? I don't teach my clients that. I tell them that they must be guarded at all times. He that think is strong, let him take it, lest he fall. Overcoming the culture of denial. You need to be plain to yourself. You need to know yourself. You need to know what you can take and what you cannot take. And the last thing, there are many things we deny, but the last thing I want to say today before I go to solution is denial of medication. Denial of medication. Many people are on medication, either medication for mental illness, medication for hypertension, diabetes, and co. But all of a sudden, you just enter into that denial mood. And you say, no, you don't need it again. You are now okay. Really? If you don't take your medication, you're going to relapse. The quality of life. I did a study on medication adherence and quality of life. And in that study, I was able to discover that those who take their medication had better quality of life. It is important for you to know that you cannot deny your medication. Some will say that the medication is destroying them. But really, some they will go and read all the things they put in the leaflets. Go and read paracetamol leaflets and see all the side effects. How it causes cirrhosis, liver problem, bleeding, pancreatitis, all those things. You shouldn't take paracetamol if we should all be reading the leaflet that comes with some of these medications. They will write the common side effects, the uncommon side effects. The truth is that pharmaceutical companies will write all these things because of legal stuff. Drugs that have side effects, I'm not saying you should use them. But the one that you have used over a period of time and there have not been problem, you've clarified from your doctors, you don't stop on your own. Most of us will stop because we are living in denial. We live in denial that the illness has gone and that we are now okay. Overcoming the culture of denial. Friends, as I round up today, how then do we overcome this culture of denial? I will leave with us the triple A to overcome the culture of denial. The first A is awareness. Awareness. Be aware of the problem. If you want to tell yourself the truth today now, all those things I've mentioned, maybe you are going through depressive symptoms, anxiety symptoms, you are addicted to one thing or the other, or you're having panic attack, they've been asking you to go and see the counselors or the psychotherapists, go and see the doctors. You know yourself. So the first thing is to be aware of the problem. The second A is acknowledgement. Acknowledge the fact that your denial has caused you a lot of things. Your denial has brought this, and this to you. Your denial has made this illness to be prolonged. Your denial has caused you your family, your job, respect in society, financial losses, and co. Recognize what the denial has done. We are talking about the triple A's of overcoming denial. And we said the first is awareness. The second is acknowledgement. The last A, which I'm leaving with us this evening, is acceptance. You must be willing to accept the new life. Be willing to accept change. Be willing to change. That, okay, I accept this thing. I will go for help. I will arise and go for help. No longer denial. The truth cannot be hidden. The fact that I decide to see a therapist does not make me a weak person as we normally think. So they say you are depressed and they say you are weak. Come on, be a man. Really? Depression is not for the feeble-hearted alone. The rich also cry. Anybody can have malaria, anybody can have typhoid, anybody can have cancer, anybody can have hypertension or diabetes, myocardial infarction. Anybody. So also is any illness related to the brain. The brain of a rich man is not different from that of a poor man. So, mental illness is no respecter of any status, gender, race, anything. It strikes when it wants to. And once you notice any symptom, try and seek help. Accept. When you are become aware of something, you acknowledge the deleterious effect, you now become, you go to a level of acceptance. It is very key. I'm very sorry if I appear so hard this evening, but denial has caused a lot in the medical world. Denial has led to delayed presentation. Delayed presentation will cause, delayed healing, poor prognosis, and unnecessary use of medical facilities, equipment, and services. And you can see the consequential effects. So that is why it is important. I want us to share this on all your platforms. If you are not yet following, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter at Dr. Nubi Peter or Nubi Orisheun Peter. I do this every Friday as part of my own contribution to humanity. We will all leave this world one day. What I always say is, while I'm here, I will leave. Because I will not be here forever. This is my corporate social responsibility. I'm just a call away. You can call. You can send direct message to us, either on Instagram, Twitter, or you can private chat me on Facebook. My name is Oluseun Peter Ogunubi. This is My Matters with Dr. Nubi. It may no longer be 1 hour as usual. I want to make it so short so that we can share, so that people will not be bored, so that people can watch and they can send to their loved ones. Should you have any question, send to me, DM or private chat me. Thank you and God bless. Always remember, there is no health without mental health. I appreciate those who joined me today. Dr. Biodolaya, my Franco Yelebue, Tayo Adewumi Banjo, Uzalaoye, thank you so much. Bolaji Iyun, Tayo Olonade, Odusideji. Oh, wow. Marayesa, these are very wonderful friends. And on Instagram, the rapist, Instagram has a lot of nicknames and underscore. So you'll be hearing things like Jennister _ the rapist George _ Gofinki, Galifi, Wanjirupi, Naija Super, Yomi _ Blah, Dr. Shegwos, Alice Bomi Ajumobi, my wonderful friend, how are you? D.Y. Landaz, the rapist, I respect all of you. Thank you. Till I come your way next week. God's willing, no health without mental health. Bye-bye. Thank you.